Hello guys, and welcome to my match review and player ratings for the Tottenham game yesterday against Man City, which ended 3-3. Just a disclaimer, I have an ulcer like right here, so if I talk a bit funny, it's because of that. It hurts and it just rubs. So that's just a quick disclaimer. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know what you think for the game and what your player ratings are. So, what a game. Honestly, Man City against Spurs, whether it's home or away, is always an amazing game. And yesterday was no different. We had goals, we had controversy, we had both defences weren't amazing. It was probably a game of two halves, really. Man City probably will be waking up the more frustrated of the two sides because of the fact that the amount of chances they had in that first half to score more goals, they didn't take them, and then they sort of became a bit complacent in the second half, which allowed us to sort of stay in the game and end up getting a draw, which I was nervous going into the game, just because it's like, well, if we end up losing, then we're going for four losses and bounce. And yeah, and we just sort of needed to get something out of this game, whether it was like a win, draw, whatever. We just needed something. And to come away with a point when people expected us to like freaking lose and like get trampled and like smashed and like all these ridiculous like high score lines, to come away with a 3-3 draw, I feel like, especially with like the injuries and suspensions we have, that like the fact that we had no centre backs on the pitch, we were like the whole of our back four, like we're four fullbacks, and we managed to get a point. And you've got to give it to him and also the players as well, the way that they stepped up. Like Lo Celso, for example, like the way he's performed like these last two games have been immense. And yeah, we didn't win against Aston Villa, but I felt like Lo Celso's performance, he scored and everything, it was immense. And he was great again yesterday, another goal, an amazing goal to be fair. And yeah, it's just good to see, without Maddison, that we have Lo Celso, who we've hoped would see this form. And hopefully he can keep it up, but this is sort of what we're hoping for, and he's producing, so I'm happy about that. And also Kulusevski in the middle, it just makes sense. It just, honestly, I prefer him in like the midfield to compare to out on the wing. And I feel like, because he's like very dominant, and I feel like if you're like, the midfield is just where you want to be dominant, and I feel like he's very like dominant there, so him being in the midfield, it just works. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when it comes to like when Maddison, Bentancur, and when they're back, then Kulusevski go back to the wing, because I feel like we'd still be effective regardless. But I feel like whilst their like injury is there, Kulusevski in the midfield, we just have to keep going with that. So the first half was crazy. Obviously Spurs barely touched the ball for like the first 5-6 minutes, and then we get a counter attack, and this has to go down to Brian Hill, because the way he sort of like twisted and turned and was able to feed the ball through to I think it was Fred to Kulusevski. That move in like that, he basically made that first goal. And then what a ball from Kulusevski, and Son showing his strength against Doku, I think it was. And obviously I feel like Edison probably should have saved that, but we go 1-0 up, and you're thinking, oh my god, it's happening again, it's happening again. Spurs just seem to like are basically Man City's bogey team, and it's just every season it happens. And you're thinking, oh, we're 1-0 up, unexpected, like in general, because of the injuries and everything, but it's just Man City, we turn up against Man City. We play well against Man City, regardless. And unfortunately, not like 2 minutes later, they end up with a free kick, and Haaland heads it, sort of takes a deflection of Son, and it's unlucky. Like, no, it probably would, if we didn't get away with that free kick, then yeah, preventable. But I feel like he couldn't really do anything about it, and it's just unfortunate that he got us ahead, and it was his own goal that made it 1-1. And I feel like after Man City got that goal, that's when they started dominating more, They were getting chances, chance after chance after chance, you know, hitting the post 3 times. Haaland missing a sitter. I think he probably missed 2. Was it 2 sitters? Yeah, I think it was like 2 sitters in the first half he missed. One from like 8 yards out. I was thinking that's definitely going to be a goal. Nobody puts it wide. Like, surprisingly, puts it wide. Now, I understand, like, players miss chances in that. But you think a player like Haaland, he would be putting that away. But somehow it goes wide. And I feel like we got let off quite a lot. And then there comes their second goal, which I feel like Ben Davies got sort of pulled out of position. And he left space. And it was just bad defending all around. I feel like a lot of the goals we conceded yesterday were from bad defending. And we definitely got lucky within the first half, it only being 2-1 at half time. But yeah, Foden got the second goal, and it was disappointing, not gonna lie, because it was definitely preventable. It was a good move from City, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Ben Davies should have just stayed with he shouldn't have gone to Alvarez. He should have just stayed where he was, because he left that space. And yeah, it was just like bad decision making, bad defending. And I felt like after we got that goal, which was counter attacking, like I said, and that's more like Conte ball, Mourinho ball. I felt like we were very open as well, but I felt like we were like very open, but we didn't really show too much threat going forward. We had chances here and there. I felt like we had like one shot, but then there was like a couple of moments where if the ball was better, or if it didn't get cut out by Man City play, then who knows, we might have had more shots on goal. But those are like probably like 2 or 3 times, including the goal itself. So I felt like we weren't great in the first half. We definitely could have been down a lot more. The game could have been lost in the first half, but Man City just had poor finishing, and then like, I don't know, they're a bit complacent really. Like this season in certain games, I mean, this is their third game they've drawn in a row, so it's like something's going on there, like who knows. And then we come up for the second half. Man City sort of start strongly again. They had that sort of 5-10 minute period where they were like on top. Then they sort of like sat back. Well, not sat back, but they weren't going full throttle. And I feel like Spurs definitely improved in that second half, and we definitely came out with a better like mentality and more belief and playing a bit more. Obviously, Ange made that substitution at half time. Bring on Højbjerg for Hill, which I feel like is the right thing to do, because Højbjerg's like, you know, he's a leader, he has that experience, and he can just get a bit more control back in like that midfield area. And not that Hill was like terrible, I felt like he was okay, but I do think he was struggling a little bit. So that was in a way more of a positive change in the way, because it would get us to be more defensive and like be able to defend a bit better, because we were a bit too much open in the first half. But then with that change, it sort of things changed, and we got more confidence in us. You know, Man City weren't really, they were I wouldn't say they were terrible, but they just weren't Man City, and they weren't really creating anything. They didn't have a shot for like 30 minutes or something. And then we end up, the ball end up going like crossed. Ben Davies, you've got to give him credit for that. I felt like that header that he made is a bit underrated, and that goal all comes from that header. He got in front of Haaland, headed it, ends up to, I think it goes to Lo Celso, and then he passes it to Son passes it back, and what a goal by Lo Celso. His second goal in 2 games, and it was just a great finish. I feel like Edison got a hand to it, but still, that was a great finish. And we're back in the game, 2-2. And you're thinking, okay, keep calm, no mistakes at the back, don't do anything silly, and maybe we can go on and keep doing what we're doing. Obviously, you think when we get to 2-2, Man City are they're gonna sort of wake them up a bit and think, oh no, like what we're gonna do, we're gonna have to come forward a bit more. So that's what happened. And Basuma, annoyingly, I don't know what he was doing, honestly. The way he lost that ball, I'm just like, oh my god. And then, yeah, then it just went downhill. You know, Grealish got his goal, and you're thinking, oh, 81st minute or so, you think, and I was still a belief. I was like, we still got time, do you know? because, you know, Tottenham, they never stop regardless of the result, like regardless of how many goals, like if they're behind, like whatever, you know that they're going to keep going until this final whistle, which is exactly what happened. And it was a bit flattening when they, like, flattening, yeah, when they got that third goal. I'm just like, mate. And I think it was the most annoying thing was it because it came from one of our errors. And Basuma, if you just passed that ball, we probably wouldn't have conceded then. And I feel like Basuma's form has sort of dipped since the start of the season, and I feel like it's ever since he got that red card against Luton, and his form's just dropped off a bit. And yeah, I think he just needs to sort of improve, and like that sort of decision making in that area. Like, don't turn into free Man City players because you're gonna lose the ball like you did. So that was a bit frustrating. But we keep going, and we finally get that chance. 90th minute, gets put down the left-hand side. Johnson crosses it in. Kulusevski coming up, trumps again. He played 3 games at Etihad, and he scored, and he scored in all 3. And it wasn't really a header; it was more like his shoulder. But what a goal that was, honestly, and especially to be in the 90th minute and to come get a goal like that, immense. And then you're thinking, okay, it's 3-3, we got to hold on here. I'm more thinking, don't go for the winner. That was what I was thinking, because I think getting a point is massive, especially for Spurs, because of the fact that we have lost our last 3 and we could not lose a fourth in a row. So getting a point was more important than I feel like going for the winner. Because then there's like 5 added minutes, I'm just thinking, it's not worth the risk. Like, usually I'd be like, yeah, we can go and win. And I feel like we could have potentially, like, maybe got that one last chance. But I felt like with the game management, sometimes you just need to realise that a point. Because, like, Wolves game, we got a bit complacent and we couldn't do that again. So I felt like Vicario did right when he was, like, telling players to go. And then, like, he went long. I felt like that was the last 5 minutes. Keep it like that. Don't put yourselves under pressure unnecessarily, and just, you know, hold on for the point, which is exactly what we did in the end. Now, the controversy bit, let's be honest. So Haaland gets fouled by Emerson. The ref gives the advantage to carry on playing. Haaland puts Grealish through on goal 1-on-1. I think Ben Davies is nearly there. He's nearly, like, with Grealish. And then the ref decides to blow his whistle to bring it back for the free kick. Obviously he made the right decision in the first place by letting the advantage play on. Then the mistake was blowing his whistle because he was, like, Grealish was on through on goal. Whether he would have scored or not, who knows? The potential was there. And Man City fans will probably feel hard done by, and like, we were robbed. And I'm just thinking in my head, what? Because, yeah, it's a bad decision, like, don't get me wrong, like, a human error and, like, whatever. But then I'm seeing all these things, like, there's an agenda against Man City, or Man City don't want Man City to win the league again. I'm just like, what? When do Man City ever really get decisions against them? Rarely. Like, it hardly ever happens. And the decision, like, let's be real here, the decisions they got this season, in some games, you're thinking, that's a bit soft, not everyone's going to get that. I'm just thinking, one decision goes against you, once in, like, a blue moon, no pun intended there, and it's, like, corruption, we're robbed and all this stuff, like, no. I mean, let's be honest, Liverpool would have had more to complain about, considering a goal that was, they literally scored a goal that should have counted and it didn't. Whereas you had an opportunity to be a 1-on-1, potentially could have scored, potentially could have not, could have got tackled, Ben Davies could have wiped you out, he could have got sent off. Like, comparing it to, like, Liverpool's sort of decision against them, it wasn't guaranteed to be a goal. So I don't understand the whole Man City fans being like, oh, we're robbed and, like, all this stuff. And just, like, again, human errors happen and it's a bad mistake, but it's not like the worst mistake in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen worse decisions, and Man City, I don't feel like they're in a position to be like, oh, we were robbed. That's just my opinion. I don't feel like they're in that position. To be fair, that they had all those chances in the first half that they literally missed. And it's kind of like how Spurs against Villa, we had all those chances and we just couldn't score more than one goal. So, you know, if Man City put his chances away, that thing at the end doesn't really matter. Obviously, they didn't score all those chances they had, and they probably should have scored more goals, but the whole rob thing, I'm just like, please be for real. Please be for real, because, yeah, it's just not adding up. I feel like they haven't got a lot to complain about. And, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Haaland ends up like a fine or something, or because the way he went off at the end, just saying, it could be foresee some punishment. But I felt like Spurs showed character, they showed resilience, they showed the fight, the spirit, and Son's movement for that second goal, amazing. But yeah, it was a crazy, crazy game. And yeah, I still can't believe it finished 3-3, honestly. But I had faith, and I believe, because it was Man City, that we could potentially get something out of the game, and we did. So that is my match review. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the game below. Okay, moving on to player ratings for me. Vicario made some great saves, made some brilliant saves. So for me, he gets an 8. Yes, he did concede 3 goals, but literally he could have not done anything about those 3 goals. Like, he could have not saved any of them. So, but for me, I still feel like the saves that he could make, he made well, and yeah, he got put under pressure quite a lot from the Man City press, but I feel like he dealt with it quite well, and we've seen him with like how he's with his feet and everything, and you know, he's composed and assured, and obviously passing to Emerson Royale and Davis instead of Romero and Van de Ven. It's a bit different, but I feel like he handled that, and yeah, for me, an 8. Porro, for me, I'd probably give him an 8 as well. I felt like I think he got dribbled past once by Doku, and then for the rest of the game, Doku really struggled to get past him, and I felt like basically Porro had Doku in his pocket. Doku? Yeah, Doku. In his pocket, and he was not really that effective from what we have seen like previously in games. And Porro, you know, was a threat going forward. He was very good defensively, and he always puts in a really good shift, and he always has that character and fight within him, and his performances this season have been really consistent, and I was super impressed with him. So an 8. Emerson. Okay. For me, Emerson, I'd probably give a 6. I felt like defensively he wasn't great. There were times when he would lose the ball and lose possession quite easily, and that's not his natural position, being a centre back, but he wasn't like terrible. He was decent at times, and there were times when he made good decisions and got us out of trouble at times, but it was just constant losing the ball, and like not being like this passing wasn't accurate at times, and it was just very frustrating to see. But I feel like with Romero coming back next game, that Emerson will be the one to be pulled out. I feel like it'd be Romero and Davis, which I'm okay with. Obviously, I'd prefer it Romero and Van de Ven, but like until Van de Ven's back, I probably would keep it Romero and Davis. But yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was okay from Emerson. Davies, I probably would give a 6 as well. Obviously he had that great moment with the header for our second goal, which, you know, fair do. I feel like it's a bit underrated, and he deserves more credit for that. But obviously he made the mistake on their second goal, and defensively he was slightly better than Emerson, I feel like, apart from that like mistake he made, but I kind of can't really separate him too highly, so I feel like the same rating is valid. And yeah, they were decent, I mean, they were probably better than, well, I don't know, probably better than decent in order to get like a draw against City. But I also think that is down to City's like missed chances and everything. But they've done okay. Obviously, it's like a short-term solution right now, and then when we get our, you know, our high-quality centre-backs back, it can be completely different. And I feel like get through this period of injuries and suspensions, and hopefully our like results-wise improve, because our performances have not been bad apart from the Wolves game. Apart from the Wolves game, I felt like our performances have been like really good, and we've just been unlucky with like some of the results. Okay, moving on to Udogie, probably give him a 7. I thought he played quite well. He obviously did get that early yellow card. I think was it an early yellow card? I feel like it was a first half yellow card. But then also we saw a bit of like maturity from him not to go flying into any more tackles. And that's what he's sort of done against like Arsenal and who else was it? Not Chelsea, because he got sent off against Chelsea. Liverpool, I think it was, against Salah. You know, he's had his early red cards and just been able to hold himself a bit more. I feel like he was a good threat going forward, defensively solid, and it was a pretty good performance from Udogie, and he held the challenge well. And yeah, I can't say too much more than that, but I thought he played really well. Basuma, I probably would give a 7. Wasn't great from Basuma, if we're being honest here. He wasn't terrible. The first half he probably struggled a bit. There was a few moments where he was able to get through like the Man City midfield and everything, but on the whole it wasn't the greatest of performances. And you add on that defensive mistake for their third goal, and the way he just dilly-dallied on the ball and just put ourselves under pressure. He needs to sort of cut that out. I feel like with everything that's like happening with Tottenham at the moment, you sort of need to make sure you're passing the ball in those moments and not turn into trouble, which is what he did, which was really frustrating. And his form, it's just dipped, and it's like, well, ever since that Luton game we got sent off, it's like, I don't know. I thought once he got that suspension out of the way, you know, he got his 5th yellow card and everything, I thought after that we would see more of the old Basuma of the start of the season, but we haven't seen that, and it's kind of frustrating. And it's kind of just like, I don't know what it is. Maybe because the players around him, who knows. But we need him to like step up, and hopefully he'll do that. Lo Celso for me, an 8. Outstanding. Honestly, this form he's in, we've needed to see it for like a long time, and if he can revive his Spurs career like this, then I'm happy. Like, I always thought he was a good player. It was just sort of his fitness injuries that sort of hindered him at times, and then he sort of didn't want to play for Tottenham, and it sort of went on loan. And like, but just as he has performing now, the fact that he got that goal as well, 5 goals that he's scored this season have been outstanding, and he offers that creativity that we lack when Maddison's not on the pitch. And I'm glad that he's finally getting his chance, and he's taking it, and he's stepping up, and it's just brilliant to see. And I've always been a fan, like I said, I've always been a fan of the Celso, and I feel like he's been, you know, he had that period under Mourinho where he was like one of our best player. He was basically carrying us at times, and it's just so glad to see him trying to get that form, like slowly getting that form back, and I'm happy with his performance. I saw a stat earlier that said he completed 40 out of 40 passes, and yeah, I'm just really happy for him. Who knew that Lo Celso this season would be reviving his Spurs career? Like, no, I don't think anyone could have guessed that. Moving on to Kulusevski, for me, I'd give him a 9. Honestly, he's so underrated at times. I'm just like, the work he does for the team, and the way, like, his strength, the way he's able to keep the ball, you know. Obviously we just need more goals and assists from him, but he's popping up goals now, and him in the midfield, like I've said before, like, it just works. And I feel like that's his best position, which is kind of frustrating, because when you bring like Maddison and Bentancur back, it's like Kulusevski would have to go back on the wing. But I don't know what it is with him, like, in the midfield. It just works, and I'm just like, his strength and like everything, the way he's able to dribble with the ball and everything. And yeah, his I was gonna say header, but I can't say, but it wasn't really a header, it was more like his shoulder. But that was a brilliant goal, and he just continued, like his performances this season, whether he's like not contributed in like goal and assist, he's still been pretty consistent, and he's in pretty good form right now. And yeah, I was just super impressed with him. Probably one of my man of the matches. I feel like him or Lo Celso would have been my man of the match. Maybe because like he slightly edges it, but sort of could be equal. But yeah, Kulusevski, immense. Moving on to Hill. I felt like Hill, you know, he had that one moment with that first goal which he done really well with. I felt like he was quite able to like dribble out of tight spaces, and you know, okay, like at times the only thing would be like his sort of strength as well on the ball, and like it's sort of, the ball would sort of hit him and it would go out, like he'll go out of play, and it's just like, it was like frustrating. But I do feel like he was kind of unlucky to come off in terms of like the whole performance of the first half, because I don't think he was terrible. I think he was pretty good, to be fair. And it's just unfortunate that he was the one to be sort of not sacrificed, because that sounds really dramatic, but to be pulled out in order to get more control of the game. But I like what I'm seeing from Hill, and I'm glad he's finally getting his chance as well. And I feel like there's more to come from him, hands down, more to come from him, and I'm excited to see it. Yeah, a 7 maybe. I think yeah, 7. Johnson again. Johnson is just, he got out like that cross for Kulusevski's goal, and like him getting an assist, and like I forgot what it was like before Johnson started playing for Spurs, because he's just like, his attacking threat is immense, and the way he just is able to get forward. And this is no dig at Richarlison when he plays on the left, but it's just with Johnson there, his pace and just everything that he can offer going forward is crazy. And yeah, I'm really becoming a fan of him. And you know, goal and assist, I think that his contributions, I might be missing 1 or 2, I can't really remember, but it was just brilliant to see, a brilliant cross. And yeah, I'm really happy with Johnson. So for me, did I say 7? I'm gonna say 7. 8, 7 or 8. I can't remember what I said. 8. Sorry, my brain going. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, 8. Moving on to the final player of the starting 11, Son. He did brilliantly to get that first goal. The strength he showed and everything. So for me, a 7. His movement for the second goal, amazing again. And just what he offers the team is like his leadership and like the way he, you know, just plays for the team. Unlucky with the own goal, very unlucky. I feel like, yeah, I can't really blame him, but it's just unfortunate that he sort of got deflected off him and went in. But I feel like his, you know, yeah, going forward, his pressing is always excellent, and I just felt like he's like the leadership ever since he's become captain. Like, I feel like I've mentioned it every game, but you can just see it. And like the fight, the character, he's like the main part of that, and I feel like that sort of leads into like everyone else and just what he brings. And yeah, he didn't get too many chances yesterday. You know, he had that one goal that he got, and then the unfortunate own goal, but his movement and his pressing were just excellent, and I was super impressed with him. And yeah, so subs. Højbjerg obviously came on at half time. I'd probably give him a 6. I felt like he was okay. There were a few times where he sort of gave away the ball, which sort of put us in awkward positions, and we could have ended up conceding. He did sort of was able to control the midfield a bit better when he came on, but going forward he wasn't really offering too much. And yeah, it was just a pretty standard display, like nothing to really shout home about. And like get pumped up about, but I feel like it was just like a standard Højbjerg performance. So a 6. The one thing I would give him credit for is the way that he was just able to give us more control of that midfield, and we were able to be able to defend a bit better at times. That in saying that. Skip came on at some point. I think it was Basuma after he made that mistake. It wasn't too long after he made that mistake where he got brought off, and I felt like Skip, he definitely, again, he got a bit more energy in that midfield, and again, he didn't do too much. Just more energy in the midfield, helped us keep control of the game a bit. I think he was involved in our last goal. Not too much, but he definitely, you know, got past the ball and all that. I think, going back to Son, goal and assist. Yeah. Because Lo Celso's goal was so good, I keep forgetting that Son was the one who passed it to him. But yeah. Yeah, I feel like Skip, you know, he came on, did what he needed to do. Who else? Richarlison came on for like the last sort of 10 minutes or so. I'm not going to give him a rating because he wasn't on there long enough, but it's good to see Richarlison back. Kind of sooner than I was expecting, because obviously we heard it was like 4 weeks out, and then apparently it was going to be like longer. But then to see him back on the bench and like to get a few, like 10 minutes is good. Yeah, there wasn't really anything really to do. Or Donnelly came on, made his Spurs debut. I'm not going to give a rating because he was already on that for long enough, but it's good to see him make his Spurs senior debut, and I'm very excited to see more from him. And I'm glad that these some young academy players are getting their chance to be on the bench, getting a chance to come on and get a few minutes here and there. Hopefully we'll see more of them. I really rate some of our like academy players, and it'll be good to see them get more minutes. And we move on to West Ham on Thursday, which I'm looking forward to. I'm back with another live watch along as well. And then, you know, as for match review player ratings. So be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another Vlogmas. Vlogmas is being uploaded every day, so that's more content for you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.